Welcome back to the Doug's Experimental Baseball Tournament. I'm Hamish Hamden, bringing you the action from the 1-0 Banana Fananas taking on the 0-1 Big Bones. We won't go over the squads or the reason that these teams exist because all of that is in the first videos, and who starts a video series in the middle. That's just anarchy, and we won't stand for it. So we'll assume you all know what's going on and take you straight into the action with Chicken Wolf at the plate and a chance to blow the Big Bones house down with 2 runners already on. Unfortunately, that pitch from Colon is Wolf's brick house, and that's a double play. That gives Colon a chance to get out of the inning, but an error by Sandoval leads to the opening run of the game. Why is Pablo Sandoval, a natural third baseman, playing at short? Because in the whole of baseball history, there has never been a shortstop large enough to make the Big Bones minimum weight requirement. Hence Weight Watchers' new slogan, go from third to short in just 2 months, which may also be how long it took Pablo to jog between the positions. Anyway, Lecoq adds another, and it's 2-0 Banana Fananas. Not for long though. Miguel Sano treats that ball like our hopes these videos will make us famous. It's long gone. The Big Bones are up 3-2 after 1, but we're going to jump ahead to the third where it's Sano again making the score 4-2. 4 RBIs for the man who once said if he was thrown a breaking ball, I swear to God, I crush it. Love the confidence, and the Big Bones are looking on course for their first win. Of course, with that setup, things start to go south, and again it's due to third baseman turned athletic shortstop, Kung Fu Panda Pablo. His second error of the game allows the inning to continue, and it's Cannonball Titcomb, the starting pitcher, with a double to tie the game. Dick comes to the plate, and that's a paddening. Banana Fananas lead 5-4. They'd stretch that lead to 6-4 on a sac fly before Bill Boyd cuts the lead to 6-5. However, Titcomb has been firing cannonballs all day, and his strikeout of Sano is his 14th, the most of any starting pitcher in the tournament so far. However, despite the 14 strikeouts, he's also given up 5 runs, and make that 6, as Gattis hits a Star Wars spin-off, also known as a solo effort. Now, because the Union Jacks aren't playing and this is America, we can't let this end in a tie, so we're heading to extras. Pete Lecoq gets off with a single, but ends up on second thanks to Val Pascucci's error. Val was a player who started his career as a pitcher, then ended up in the outfield, but it's possible his 6'6", 260-pound frame is not best suited for centre. Since retiring, Val's coached such teams as the Savannah Sandgnats and the Binghamton Rumble Ponies, which adds nothing to this matchup but are such wonderful team names I thought you'd want to know. And while you were learning that, Babbitt flied out, so the Big Bones walk Pickles to set up the double play. Great idea in theory, but in practice, Jumbo Brown on the mound completely screws it up by throwing a wild pitch and moving the runners. Tony Suck, furious at the obvious jokes made about his name and play in the last game, launches a sac fly to give the Banana Fananas a game winner, as Cal McClish easily saved the game in the bottom of the 10th. So the Banana Fananas are undefeated, the Big Bones are without a win. What else have we learned? Titcomb struck out 14 but gave up 6 runs. On a day when the Big Bones outfielders knew how to field, that would probably have been enough for a win. But they gave up 6 unearned runs in a performance that would give our error-filled weak prescriptions in Group A a run for their money.
Heading over to Group A, we have a battle of the undefeated teams. Only one of these teams is going to come out still unscathed. That's how math works. We've got the New Jersey Turnpikes at the weak prescriptions. We joined the game at the bottom of the second with Ray Durham at the plate. We've been calling this guy's name frequently in these early games, and here he is again, singling. Not only that, but he's still second base, though the prescription's hope for scorings lies with their pitcher, Rex Barney. Well, how about that? When he tells his buddies about it after the game, he'll say he sent a screamer out to center field. It's 1-0 prescriptions. Jumping to the bottom of the fourth, Gary Matthews scores Dave Winfield, giving the prescriptions a bit more padding. And in the bottom of the sixth, they add further with a 2 RBI triple by Dante Bichette. Look at Dante flash those wheels! And he's subsequently brought home by Brett Butler, and it's 5-0 prescriptions. We've been spending all this time on the prescriptions hitters. Well, you can attribute that to the man on the bump, Rex Barney. His history with the Brooklyn Dodgers was a rocky one. Rex just couldn't find the plate, walking more people than he struck out in every season but one. But check out that one! He finally figured it out and he was in the MVP conversation that year. However, in this day and age, he's more likely to be fondly remembered as the PA announcer for the Baltimore Orioles from 1969 until his death in 1997. When a fan would make a nice play, he popularized the call of "give that fan a contract," which, given the team's performance in the 80s, the Orioles may have taken that literally. To help recount Rex Barney's performance, we've invited real-life dinosaur Barney to help count his strikeouts.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's go marching 9 by 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Oh shit. Barney never got ambitious enough to teach the kids anything over 10. That's okay. We'll do it live. I can dub it. Hold on, just gotta get in the right headspace. Give me a second. Gotta get in the right headspace. 11. 12 strikeouts in 6 innings, and the Turnpikes don't do anything in the later innings, so that is your final. And so the weak prescriptions remain unscathed at 2-0, while the Turnpikes fall to 1-1. Story of the game has to be Bill Daly. 6 innings pitched, 12 strikeouts against 4 walks, and he even contributed with the stick, going 1 for 2 with that RBI. And when he came out, Tommy Byrne took over. 3 innings pitched, didn't give up a thing for his first save of the year. For the Turnpikes, Mike Leake didn't have that bad of a game, only giving up 4 earned runs in 8 innings pitched. But the offense managed to strike out 15 times, including those 12 from Bill Daly. They're really living up to that logo.
Time for more Doug's Experimental Baseball Tournament. I'm Hamish Hamden, bringing you the action from the 1-0 Union Jacks, taking on the 0-1 Glory Days. It's the best of British versus the Peeping Toms, as Glory Days is made up of a bunch of players who peaked too early. The Jacks were all over Glory Days starting pitcher Sanford early, and he ultimately wouldn't make it out of the 4th. First he gives up 2 doubles in 3 pitches to Nichols and Farris to get the Kingdom on the board, then he gives up a homer in the 2nd. George Hall showing he's a baseball player as well as a building in the Kremlin, and he's putting on a show with that shot to make it 2-0. Farris is back up for his 2nd AB in 2 innings, and he's 2 for 2 to make it 3-0. Bobby Thompson once said that his shot heard round the world may have been the best thing that ever happened to anybody. A bold statement, coming as it did only 6 years after the Allies were able to end the Holocaust. So along those lines, this home run here to put the Jacks up 5-0 is mankind's greatest achievement since John Logie Baird was tired of nothing being on television and so invented television. Tom Brown would chase Sanford from the game with another long ball in the 4th, and at 6-0 it looked like the game was over already. But the Glory Days didn't get where they are by being bad all the time. They got where they are by being bad later on in their careers, and this is only their 2nd game in this tournament. They channeled that rookie energy in the 6th. First, an Earl Williams home run made it 6-2. Earl was one of those players for whom the DH rule was made for. A subpar pitcher, subpar first baseman, and finally a subpar catcher, but he still had power you just had to get in your lineup. Today he's catching, a position he played for the first time ever after coming into a Braves game in 1971 as a pinch hitter. Despite never having caught at all in his college or minor league career, the Braves threw him behind the plate, showing the 1971 Braves had as much tactical sense as they did racial sensitivity. Let's get back to the action, and we'll jump to the 8th. The Jacks are still cruising 8-3, but here's that man Earl again with his 2nd homer of the day to make it 8-4. 2 walks and a single would then load the bases for Ron Kittle, who doubles to make it 8-6. That leads to a pitching change, and it's London calling, as the Jacks make the interesting choice of turning to London-born Chris Reed, a man with a whopping 2 major league appearances in his career. This clash has turned in the favour of Glory Days with that move, as first Lestache makes it 8-7, and Crosby can, and does, tie it at 8-8. Momentum is all with Glory Days as we enter the 9th, but with 2 outs, Dave Brain summons some blitz spirit and draws a walk. Bobby Thompson looks too much like a redcoat for Mark Fidrich, and the former Aqua Velva spokesperson hits him with a pitch to load the bases. That lets Cogwell score 2 with a single, quickly followed by a 2-run double by Smith, and no amount of ice blue is going to cool that burn. The comeback is over, and despite a consolation run in the bottom of the 9th, the Union Jacks take it down. That means the Jacks are 2-0, and they're getting contribution from all over the kingdom. Except Wales. And Northern Ireland, actually. Okay, it's just Scotland and England, but all players successfully reached base today. As for the glory days, Earl, I guess I'm a catcher now, Williams went yards twice, but it wasn't enough.
Wrapping up the Game 2s in Group A, we've got Deliberately Offensive at the Detroit Tigers. We drop in on the first. Deliberately Offensive's last game against the New Jersey Turnpikes left us asking, where's the offense? Stan Musial says, I found it, guys! It was under the couch! I also found what appears to be a fossilized pizza roll, which was just repulsive. If we're going to be rooming with each other, you guys really need to step up your cleanliness, and yes, that means you, Captain! Offensive gets one more to make it 3-0, and we turn it over to the bottom of the inning. With Babe Ruth's start behind us, the pitching matchups are just going to get less traditional from here. Tris Speaker bears the burden today. He has pitched an inning and he did manage to record 3 outs, which likely puts his resume towards the top of a stack of bad options. Let's see how it goes. Victor Reyes has already walked and still in second, and Castro's single brings him home. Nick Castellanos with a shot, that makes it 3-0. Still no one out. Jordy Mercer singles. Ronnie Rodriguez drops one in there. Miguel Cabrera doubles on a 109-mile-per-hour line drive. That brings home Mercer. Detroit takes the lead. Here comes the 7th batter of the inning, and Jacoby Jones, still no one out. Speaker finally records an out, but Ronnie Rodriguez scores on it to make it 5-3 Tigers. That's all they'll get, but after not scoring until the 9th in their first game, it's got to feel good to get on the board early. Let's see if they know how to play with a lead. They do not. In the top of the 3rd, it's Rogers Hornsby with his 2nd home run of the season to make it 5-4. And 2 batters later, the stadium might as well be an incontinent dog because it's not going to be able to hold it. It's Robin Yount with a 2-run home run, scoring Babe Ruth after his double. Yount, considerate man that he is, puts the Tigers back in familiar territory, losing baseball games. But wait, Harold Castro takes offense to people talking poorly about his team. He says, hey, we won 47 games, baby, and scores John Hicks to tie the game at 6. In the bottom of the 4th, Speaker's horrendous start to the ballgame forces Deliberately Offensive to go to the pen early. In comes Barry Bonds. I had a write-up, but I can no longer read it because some wise ass, hey, Hamish! Did you put a bunch of asterisks all over my Barry Bonds write-up? You're a dick, Hamish! Anyhow, John Hicks triples, scoring 2, and Detroit is back in the driver's seat. And later that inning, it's Blaine Hardy doubling to make it 9-6 Detroit. Let's see if they've figured out how to play with a lead. Their lead does hold strong until the 7th. The Tigers have only given up 1 additional run, making it 9-7. But Robin Yount is at the plate, and that's a solo shot. It'll make it 9-8. And 2 batters later, after a single by Mike Schmidt, it's, just had a wicked case of deja vu. Say hey, that's a 2-run shot by Willie Mays, 10-9 offensive. In the 8th, a bases-loaded walk to Babe Ruth makes it 11-9, and a sac fly from Rod Carew adds another to make it 12-9 to bring us forward to the bottom of the 8th. Miguel Cabrera at the plate, and he homers off of Rod Carew to make it 12-10. They're not dead yet, but in the top of the 9th, Babe Ruth makes 2019 Miguel Cabrera's efforts as irrelevant as they were in 2019, 13-10 offensive. Will 3 runs be enough? This game has played out much more like our expectations from the get-go. It's been an absolute slugfest. Ronnie Rodriguez up with 1 out and 1 on, and Roberto Clemente, who has never pitched a game prior to today, gets him to ground out into a game-ending double play. Offense was not in short supply today with 23 combined runs, but none were more deliberately offensive than Robin Yount. Went yard twice with 3 RBIs. And for the Tigers, you can lay the blame squarely on Matt Boyd and Joe Jimenez. It was their 3 2/3 that screwed the team pooch harder than anybody else. Offensive goes to 1-1, while the Tigers are still looking for their first win. Let's see what this does to the standings. In Group A, the Prescriptions have a commanding lead in terms of run differential, and this win slots Deliberately Offensive into playoff position. Over to Group B, it's a tale of the haves and the have-nots. We've got 2 teams at 2-0 and 2 teams that haven't tasted the sweet taste of victory as of yet. The Big Bones and Glory Days are going to have to turn it around soon with 4 games remaining, and they'll get the opportunity to do so on Wednesday as they face off against each other. So one of these teams is going to start moving in the right direction. Of course, that also means we'll have a battle of the 2-0 teams as the Union Jacks visit the Banana Fanas. Up in Group A, we have a similar situation. It's number 2 visiting number 1 with Deliberately Offensive going to the Prescriptions, while the bottom 2 teams of the group face off as well, where the Tigers visit the Turnpikes. We hope to see you then. As always, likes on the video and subscriptions to the channel help us out, so please consider doing so. And I've been Johnny Paprika, hoping all your balls are fair and all your wood is good. Good night, everybody!